Onyama mines. It is the biggest coal mine in the whole of South. Well, the coronation of the new Oni is a watershed in the history of the Yoruba land generally, and Ife in particular. Now, because they have a leader now, that will... Simply put, Gura is a beautiful countryside with awesome landscapes. If something differently would be done to the Nigerian textile industries, that our youth will be employed. Attend the church here can tell you.
Service in Holy Rosa is evening.
We are taking a canoe tour of the communities on the bank of River Niger in Getso.
This is Abaji in a hazy afternoon. State of the atmosphere apart, Abaji always offers beautiful perspective. From my eye line, it is such a sprawling township, spread magnificently in a downward curve, leading to destinations multiple and diverse across the country. I went to Abaji to give life to a beautiful storyline. It is actually a place of some fine human stories, but I cannot wait to tell this one. Late this year, Minister of State for the Federal Capital Territory, Dr. Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, commissioned a water treatment plant that will serve Abaji and several of its environs. It was a modest ceremony in which the Federal Capital Territory, Abaji Area Council, and the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals are the major players. This ceremony, modest as it were, has significant symbolism that is destined to change an important history of Abaji forever.
It has really been a hectic job, and we have been on this thing right from 2010. And today, to the glory of God and to the service of humanity, we are seeing the project coming to fruition, and people are benefiting from it.
10 years.
Yes.
This is a story of toil, perseverance, vision, and eventually success by three important arms of government. For all his life, Abaji has been thirsty. This is not a metaphor. It is an objective truth, and it lingers even before the Federal Capital Territory FCT was born. With the reality of the FCT, the geographical entity now identified as Abaji Area Council has in all its history been short of water throughout its life. The Abaji town itself is a major route of a perennial river, the River Ucha, which the people exploit on a large scale. Yet, it has no certification of hygiene and potability, and it's not accessible to all.
Truly, it has been a very huge challenge. Very huge challenge. Before now, many of the residents relies on water from Ucha, Ashara, which hygienically is not good for our health. But with this scheme, I am very, very sure that water problem is going to be a thing of the past.
Concerns have not been uncommon that most development projects in the FCT are concentrated in the federal capital city of Abuja, to the disadvantage of the area councils. It is the dream of the founding fathers of the FCT, however, that development initiatives should cut across all the territory to such a degree that no part should feel alienated. Part of the wisdom is to reduce over-concentration of migration into the federal capital city, reduce incidences of security violations and health hazards, and to spread wealth and allow for better governance.
I always want a project that will go direct to the communities. Personally, I will always want it. So any project that is not elitist, I always go for it. Because that is where you will see the result, and that is where you will see that you have touched somebody's life directly.
As much as those facts are clear enough, even in the FCT, Abaji holds strategic importance. By land, it is the first point of contact by anyone coming to the FCT from most parts of the southern fringes of the country. It is the first impression you have of the FCT. It helps that it manifests all the necessary environmental and economic characteristics of especially Abuja. On the flip side, Abaji is also the last frontier of the FCT for anyone going south from most parts of northern Nigeria. Whatever is happening to the area council in the FCT today in terms of development initiatives, there is always a resolute concern by the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCDA) to reach out to all the area councils with the project that will impact on their lives and bring them online with the dreams of what the FCT should symbolize. In the year 2009, there was a lifeline to provide sustained water supply to Abaji and its environs. Mobilizations were made to set the project on track.
The project is actually conceived under the MDGs program. At that time, we had this conditional grant scheme program that was supposed to access some funds from the federal government, which the FCT participated. And the fund was supposed to address 4 principal projects: poverty alleviation, health-related programs, then issue of water and sanitation. Then there are some cross-cutting issues, which has to be capacity building. So specifically, the Abaji water you're talking about was to address Goal 7, which is environmental sustainability.
The resolution to have a comprehensive water supply scheme in Abuja and environs was a masterstroke. It came at the heels of prior attempts by governments and organizations to get the taps running there. They invariably failed to deliver. In fact, Abaji and many of its environs are a picture of overhead tanks, which are projects of failed boreholes. Somehow, all previous attempts to get boreholes up and running in the area went short of expectation. Projects under MDGs have value that must be met. In Abaji, there are water projects under a tripartite agreement with the FCDA, Abaji Area Council, and the Federal MDG Office.
Then, when it was conceived to meet the MDG Goal 7, Target 3, that's to ensure sustainable, environmental sustainability. That's the MDG Goal 7. That was when, and the target 3 is to provide access water and sanitation to the communities. Now it is SDGs. Yes, okay. Yeah, and the
Millennium Development Goals to Sustainable
Development Goals. Okay. And even at the Sustainable Development Goals, we are still looking at water, an issue of water, because Goal 6 talks about clean water in the Sustainable Development.
When the Abaji water project took off in 2010, the perspective was to build boreholes across significant sections of the town and its environs. Pipelines from previous water works in the area were connected to the boreholes in many situations. It was a disaster. Abaji town was flooding with leaked boreholes. At any rate, in the long run, the borehole turned out to be not prolific. The terrain in Abaji and environs is too prohibitive to support any long-term plan for a water borehole.
The few ones we drilled do not last more than 6 months. They will carbon after the community starts using it. Then initially we were talking about flushing, but later we discovered it is not just flushing. Inside underground, it caves in. At the depth, sometimes in Abaji you have to go about 80 meters, 100 meters, 120 meters. In fact, in Nuku, there was one we drilled up to 140 meters. We got water, but it didn't last long. So that just gives us an idea that, look, who can't work.
This setback gave rise to a phenomenal break. For 5 years, the project could not go on. Some partners in the project agreement were apathetic.
The funding, because initially when we started the concept, because of we had a stakeholders engagement between us, the project support unit of the MDs of the FCT, the Abaji Area Council itself, and the FCT Water Board. Yes. So we had this tripartite arrangement for where we can fund the project, because it's a massive project. But along the line, FCT Water Board and Abaji Area Council couldn't come up with funding. So that affected the implementation of the project. So we had to go back subsequent years looking for funds. And you know, these funds from the national MDGs is very competitive.
People are looking for it. You are not the only people.
We are not the only people looking for it. So it took serious intervention of the FCT administration. And when the new SSA to the president on MDGs came in too, she saw the magnitude of the project and the need to complete the project. So she has to put in her words.
This renewed interest brings back to life the Abaji and Ambaron's water project, and a new option was pursued.
So eventually, when the real desire for Abaji to have water supply came, and when the idea was going to be, muted and probably compared, Zirziba turned out to be the Sabio.
Sequel to drillings of serious sequel of boreholes that were not prolific. So we take a study on this river, and we found out that it should be sufficient for Abaji and its endurance. So that's why we use this river Ocha to be the source of water supply to Abaji and its endurance.
Okay. River Ocha enjoys rich vegetation cover along its Abaji routes. As much as it is an eternal water body, community members in Abaji and several along its channels patronize it for their daily water needs. Potentially, however, it is the way out to Abaji's perennial water problem. It is a turnaround from the idea of a borehole to the need for a water treatment plant to end Abaji's water needs. When it was understood that River Ukia at the southern backyard of Abaji is the ultimate answer to the issue, the water treatment option was pursued in earnest. The technical reality of the water treatment to serve Abaji and environs is realized under 2 years, and it is up and running. I took a tour of the critical sections of the water treatment plant, and it is heartwarming that it is promising. I'm not a technical person to explain with the authority the operations of the plant, but they follow a simple pattern, a simple sequence. The river water is harnessed via underground pipes, and through gravity is taken to a reservoir close by using pipes. The water is moved to the main plant from this point. The plant is not far from this reservoir. I have actually been conducted to areas where the treatment chemicals were applied and how the chemicals transform and interact with the water to the required state. The treatment plant was actually a wonderful picture of hard work and result to reach out to Abaji and environs with rich clean water.
The capacity of the treatment plant that's been 5,000 meter cube per day is enough for the inhabitants of Abaji and its environs. And we have started test running the plant for almost 2 months ago. We don't experience any difficulty or any other challenges apart from the power supply issue.
The treated water here is taken to 2 giant reservoirs on a hill, some 3 kilometers from the location of the treatment plant.
The story we are telling you here, when the events of harnessing that water and its treatment is done, the result of that comes to this hilltop. And you see this giant place is a reservoir where the water has been pumped and kept. This reservoir has capacity for 1,000 cubic meters. There is another one behind, is 500 cubic meters. And then the water that is eventually supplied to the whole of Abaji and its local areas.
For some 3 months since the water treatment plant was completed, some 5 communities in Abaji and environs earlier connected through what is called kiosk to be able to access the water, join a rich water supply of the SDG standard. They include some 5 strategic communities in the Abaji town itself, then Naharati, Kekeshi, Nuku, and the FCT University of Science and Technology in Abaji. The idea is to test run the integrity of the water treatment plant and observe its workability. The result impressed.
They are okay. They are okay. I have no problem with that.
And the
machines.
treatment is going on fine?
The treatment is going on fine, actually.
We took a physical tour of all the areas where the water treatment plant serves with water in Abaji and its environs. Here is a location in Abaji town. We made the kiosk working and the community members making a run for the water. It is live like they have never experienced before.
My sister Janet Olusami here holds one of the keys to the kiosk in Abaji, and she relates her experience with the water prior to this time when she has water just across the road. Madam Janet.
Yes, sir.
I can see you have the key to the water. I can see you can have access to water now freely.
Yes.
Okay.
We have been using and we are enjoying it.
For how long now?
I stopped to more than a month now. We have been using the water. We used to face so much difficulties from all these truck pushers that used to sell water. Sometimes you call them, they will not even answer you. But now that we have this one, you don't have, you can see none of them is even passing here now.
Still in another section of Abaji Township, another kiosk is dispensing water to the community with the flourish. I sought out Chairman Abaji Area Council to see what he makes of this pleasant surprise. The taps are running in Abaji as they never did in all their lives. Naharati is a rural community in the outskirts of Abaji. This community actually had a prior water project that worked for them, but it depends on light supply, which is short and distant and far from adequate. The building of kiosks in this community that dispenses water at all times is a welcome relief to the community. This kiosk is of course along the Abaji and Embarrass water project, and how much it is welcome in Naharati.
I think the beauty of this Abaji and Embarrass water supply scheme is the fact that it effectively touches the countryside. Many of the communities outside Abaji are benefiting from the scheme. For example, these are people from Naharati. Naharati is some 10 to 15 kilometers away from Abaji, but it has been effectively connected by the scheme. And then you know what? For over 2 months, the people of Naharati have been tapping water effectively and solving their domestic and water needs.
We observe life unfold in this local community. Movements in and out around the water kiosk. It was like it was the main activity of the moment for the community.
Before we put this project, we were having borehole. And the borehole, except when there is a light from the power holding companies, if there's light, we have water. And if there's no light, that's the end of it. Some people go to the stream there to fetch water. But now with this, for 2 months now, I think we have been enjoying this new project.
There are a number of issues that emanated from the supply of water to Naharati under this project. Many households took advantage of existing pipes that are connected to their households from previous water projects to reticulate this water to their homes.
We are giving them water free of charge, but whenever we want to start the real business of selling water in Abaji and its environs, we are going to involve the community members. So those who connected from these points, we will have to talk to them that they have to come and do it legally. That is paying some fees, and then they will be connected, also being metered.
There are 13 facts about test running the workings of this project. The water is released twice a day, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. daily. So communities should align their interests with their timetable. When we went to Abaji University of Science and Technology, the water release was yet to arrive the water point provided for it. But you can understand the noble intentions. The university is a giant community, and a great part of it is still under construction. The project delivered a water tap just at the entrance of the school to address the prospect of massive need for water. Nuku was visited too with the 2 water kiosks under this project. Although rich in good road, but it is a top terrain and on a plateau. Of all the rural communities the project reached out to, Nuku is bigger and most populous, and the one of the most difficult to reach with water.
Several attempts have been made in Nuku town to get water. It has been a problem. But this water scheme has been extended to Nuku, and I am very, very sure the people of Nuku will forever remain grateful. And entire people of Abaji County will remain grateful to this administration.
But Nuku has its water kiosk and the community are happy.
In those days, we used to go to stream, our women, they sleep inside stream. But we thank God as government has tried this thing for us. But our problem now is to extend the water, because Nuku is very large. There are some, if you go around now, you will see say it's a distance to here. So we pray that they should extend the water to each Angwa.
When we passed Kekeshi, the water release was yet to arrive their kiosk. There was to be no anxiety anyway, because when we returned, the kiosk was running, but a nearby market has emptied the town. This whole scenario is a testament that the water treatment plant is working well, and the communities will be getting an uninterrupted water supply for the first time in their lives. Yes, there are issues with the power. Abaji is not used to having regular supply of electricity from the PHACN, so the plant will have to rely on generators to function. Then the cost of running the generators is a big story. But in all strategic areas where the power is needed to move the water, there is rich provision of standby power sources. But the Federal Capital Territory Authority, FCT, says it will take responsibility for the supply of diesel.
We gave them diesel for a year, chemicals and reagents for a year before they are able to take off.
Come up strong?
Yes.
And then take care of their
own side. That's what we do.
That's a bonus.
Yes.
When did this start? From today when the commission is done, or you have started 3 months ago?
We have started over 4 months ago.
So they still have 8 months of grace?
They have.
In principle, the satisfactory working of this treatment plant allows for the project to be commissioned and regular supply of water begin forthwith in Abaji and its environment. It is a function carried out by the Minister of State for FCT.
It is worthy of note that while this multi-million naira project is not a brainchild of this present administration, we have remained focused on completing every project rather than abandoning it as it used to be in the old days.
At the project's commission, the issue of sustainability of the project actually caught my attention.
In the plan, what we did is to make sure whatever we are doing, the community people are involved.
So they are part and parcel of it?
They are part and parcel of it right from the drawing board. So that you will appreciate how much government has spent for you. And definitely they have to appreciate that they need this water. So they will protect the facilities.
You see, it's a tripartite agreement. It's a tripartite agreement of which area council is part of it. And presently, the area council has also contributed immensely to the success of this water scheme. And if it is something that we have also invested, for sure, we will not allow our investment to go in vain. As such, the maintenance of it, all areas where the area council will be required to partner in order to see that we sustain this water scheme, the area council will always be there.
Communities benefited from the water during test run at no cost. They are not paying after the commissioning either. But would they pay at some point?
If you look at it, majority here are domestic. So where you normally get enough money is from not domestic users, and we don't have such properties here. Okay. Yes.
But the supply will satisfy all the needs of Abaji and its environs?
Of course.
What do you have maybe an estimate of the average consumption rate for the people here?
Actually, the project was targeted for 50,000 people for Abaji and its environs. So the system will work for them.
The story, however, is that a story that began 11 years ago has now come to full realization. What happens between the years, nobody wants to recount, but everyone is celebrating the success achieved at last.
I feel like dancing and jumping because this is a project that has been on our head for over 8 years. And today that we are seeing the fulfillment of the project, I'm so happy.
Abaji and environs finally have an assured water supply, and the SDG, FCTA, and Abaji Area Council have delivered.